సరే అయితే అది రికార్డ్ చేయండి.
Hi guys, can you hear me? Am I audible? Okay, cool. So I understand that it's brilliant weather, but the problem is there's too much of thunder and everything, and unfortunately enough, my house on the top floor. So yeah, there's a little bit of the sound problem. But guys, if you're able to hear me, please type a Y. Are all of you able to hear me? Low voice. Uh, so yeah, I am trying my best to talk as loud as possible. Low voice, low voice, low voice. Now is it fine? No, yes, no, low voice. Oh my God. Okay, still the same. Somewhat. Okay, give me one moment. Yeah, now can you hear me better? Is it any better than before? No, it's not throat problem. So I live in a penthouse, which is very close to the beach. So the problem over here is the rain. So it's the top floor, right? It's literally on the terrace. So you cannot actually escape from the rain. Whenever there's a thunder, my electricity goes, everything goes. Though there's an inverter, it only runs for like one room, and that room does not cover the internet switch. So I'm working today on a very how do I put a personal hotspot, and B, because of the rain and thunders, my voice is a little low. It's attenuated. The signal gets attenuated, right? So that's the issue. But yeah, at any point of time, if you feel that the voice is a little unclear, please make sure that you tell it to me immediately, because see, I won't realize it. Yeah, I'll upload the PPT, guys. I'll upload the PPT. Don't worry. Look, I told you again and again repeatedly for a lot of time. Once I finish all my grammar classes, I'll upload a combined PPT. Okay. Look, it's useless for me to upload PPT of half parts of speech, of one or two parts of speech. It's utterly useless. No, that's why I'm putting it all together. Palle Sirisha, you're not getting my voice. Are the others able to get my voice? The voice is not audible. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. All right. I'll try to be as loud as possible for today. Okay. Because obviously these are not things that we can control, but let me try. Anyways, so here's what we're going to do today. We're going to do the grammar part. And again, this will be another grammar review one, wherein we are learning about the subject verb agreement. Yeah, there's a lot of disturbance on my end, Kanna, but that's absolutely not something that I can help. The problem at my end is very simply the problem of rain. So it's raining and I live on the top floor. So that's the issue, Sai Durga Bharadwaj. Okay. So once the rain subsides, everything will go back to normal. But until then, I'll try to be as loud as possible. Okay. So yeah, today we'll be learning about the subject verb agreement. Now, is there anyone who can tell me what a subject verb agreement is? Who is annotating? Hey, no problem. It's not your fault. No, you didn't make it rain. So guys, can I go forward with this class? Yeah. Now, yeah, before I start, so as I was asking you, what is subject verb agreement? The verb should quantify the number of subjects. Subject and verb must agree in number. This means both need to be singular or both need to be plural. No, I'm not. I didn't change the chat settings wantedly. Look, there's nothing wrong in you guys seeing the answers that each others are giving. If there's any issue with any kind of a weird message that comes up, immediately I'll change it. Don't worry. Okay. Now, so far, there's nothing weird in it, so I just left it like that. All right. Now, anyways, so yeah, one person told me what subject verb agreement is. What about the others? What do you guys think subject verb agreement is? Is he right with it? Should they be agreeing with each other in numbers? Yeah, so basically verb forms change with respect to the subject. Okay. So my whole question is why? Why should either the subject and the verb be singular or the subject and verb be plural? I mean, why can't the subject be singular and verb be plural? Or the other way around? Why can't the verb be singular and the subject be plural? I mean, what is wrong with that? Why should I not adapt that convention? Because it won't make any sense. Okay, how does it not make any sense? Can someone please explain to me why it does not make sense? Okay, so think of it this way. If I say he was traveling, in that sentence, can I say that the verb is was? Like, sir, if I say two boys are playing rather than two boys playing. Okay, so over here, what we need to understand is the reason it does not make sense is because the actions done by multiple people need to be multiple. Okay, so if I am saying that there's only one person and he's doing some action, the action should also be done by only one person. Instead, if I say that there are multiple people, then I have to imply that each one is doing the action. Okay. Are you able to understand why we should have that rule at all? A singular person should ideally be able to do only a singular action, and multiple people should be ideally doing multiple actions. Okay. So now in subject verb agreement, ideally there are no rules at all. Okay, there's only one rule that all of us need to follow, and I'll just highlight that basic rule right away. Okay. Now the only rule and the very basic rule is that singular subjects take singular verbs and plural subjects take plural verbs. Okay, that's the only basic rule. But the whole problem is, how do I know which is singular subject and which is plural subject? How do I know which is singular verb and which is plural verb? Okay, so anyone who can answer that question, how do I know which is singular subject, which is singular verb? How do I identify singular and plural in subjects and verbs? Okay, with the help of pronouns. What if your sentence does not have a pronoun, Nana? Okay, okay. So you're saying that pronoun or noun. Yeah, yeah, fine. Okay, all right. Maybe based on the whole sentence. Yes, verb ending with S or yes. Okay. Yeah. So now, look, we've learned about nouns, no? Now, in the nouns, we've very clearly seen that when I have a noun like pen, to make this plural, I can add an S, correct? Now, when I have something like maybe say a class, we add ES to make it plural. So that means whenever we have a noun, okay, whenever we have a noun, to identify singular, there is no S at the ending. Yeah, but plural, there is an S at the ending. Correct? Yeah. So for a noun, in the singular, there's no S. In the plural, there is S. But what about a verb? Now, if you look at it, let us say he has a chocolate, right? Or let us say I was going, yeah? Or let us not even go till that far. Let's say he dances, he works, okay? Now, can you see that at the ending of every singular verb, that means a verb that's done by only one person, there is an S at the ending? So very simply, you can recognize that verbs in their singular sense have an S at the ending. Now the same thing if I were to take they dance, okay, or they sing, both of you run. Now is there any S at the ending for all of these things? No, right? And why is that? Because we're talking about multiple people. We're talking about lot of different people, at least more than one person. So very simply speaking, there won't be an S at the ending of a plural verb. Okay. So let me just write this down in a neater manner, in a better fashion, so that you guys can copy this down. It'll be easier for you to. Just make a small table or as such with noun and verb being the two rows. Okay, on your column, just make a singular and a plural. Okay, for a noun, if it's a singular, there's no S attached. But if it's a plural, there's an S attached. For a verb, if it's a singular, there's an S attached at the ending. However, for a verb in the plural, there's no S attached at the ending. Okay, are we all clear with this? Guys, you can raise your hand, say YN. Just let me know you're still connected. Because since I'm using my mobile data, I don't know when my connection is gone. Okay, cool. All right, fine. So a few of you are clear. Yeah, okay. I'm getting 5 to 10 hands and this too. Cool. So now let me go to the first rule. Okay. And this rule is very simple, that the one that I just told you. Yeah. You can look at a small example. He writes every day. Okay. The rule is, if the subject is singular, the verb must also be singular. Okay. Now, this is not a rule. Most of these rules are common sense, guys. Okay. Now, the only reason I've included these particular 10 to 12 statements is because a lot of questions in your CRT exams come around these rules only, come around these statements only, come around these examples specifically. Okay. So if you familiarize yourself with all the places you can go wrong at, then definitely you won't go wrong in those places, right? Or at least I hope that way. Okay. All right. So the second rule again, very, very simple. It's a common sense based rule. If the subject is plural, the verb must also be plural. Okay. For example, they write every day. Now, when I'm saying they write every day, the subject is plural and so is the verb. Okay. Now, what is the subject in this sentence, guys? What did I tell you? First, whenever we get a sentence, we should always first try to identify the verb in that sentence. And once we identify the verb, we can ask the verb who or what. Correct? So look, the action over here is right. Yes? Now if I ask who writes, there's something wrong. Give me 1 minute. Let me just change the pen. Yeah. So this is the verb. And if I ask who writes, okay, the answer will be they. Am I right? So that way we can understand what is the subject. All right. Now please try to look at this. When I said who, do I know exactly how many people there are? Guys, tell me, when I said who, do I know how many people there are in it? No, right? So that is why I use the singular, no? Because it's an indefinite case. Yeah? So that is again another small thing that we should realize. That whenever we're getting any indefinite, we use a singular verb. All right? Okay, let's go to the next rule. Now, please look at this rule. When the subject of the sentence is composed of two or more nouns, okay? When I say composed, I mean joined. Okay? So if there is like multiple subjects and we've joined these subjects with and. All right. So now what is happening over here? Definitely, if I look at two small people also, let's say Ram and Shyam. Okay. Let us say Ram and Shyam. So whenever we are having Ram and Shyam, these are two individual subjects. Yes, and they both are singular subjects. However, together, when they are joined with an and, they together become two people minimum. So this becomes a plural subject, right? That's why we always have to use a plural verb. Okay. Now try to look at these examples. You'll actually find some meaning if you look at the examples. Okay. The first example is the doctoral student. So this guy is a singular subject. And the committee members. So do you see? This is a plural subject. Yeah. Write every day. So this becomes a what? Singular verb or plural verb? This is going to be a plural verb. Okay? Is that clear? All right. Now the next part, the percentage of employees, okay, who called in sick, and the number of employees who left their jobs within 2 years are reflective of the level of job satisfaction. Now, guys, try to tell me if this is a singular subject or a plural subject, because I'll actually highlight. My voice is not audible. Now is it audible? Varsha, is my voice audible to you now? Yes? Okay, cool. All right. So, guys, look, one subject, and then this is another subject. So, tell me, are these singular subjects or plural subjects? Both are singular or both are plural or what? Prithvi, I'm really sorry, but I'm at the top of my voice today. As in, I'm speaking as loud as possible, but now it's much clear. Okay, okay, all right. So both are singular subjects, right? So always remember, yeah, when you're saying a number of or a percentage of, we are talking about the percentage. Okay, we are talking about the number. Okay, now how does it matter if I'm talking about percentage of cars or percentage of people or a percentage of marks? That is all irrespective, no? That's all immaterial to us. What is material is what I'm talking about. And what am I talking about? I'm only talking about percentage. The same way, number. Okay. In other words, you can also think about it on the same way as an amount. Okay. Can you give me one sentence with the word amount? What the doctoral student and the committee members write every day. Write every day. What the doctoral? No, no, no. It's not correct, Nana. Khaza. No, that's not correct. The doctoral student and the committee members write every day. No, it'll be right every day. See, look, when we are joining any two subjects, okay, let us say you are the doctoral student, Nana. Okay, yeah, and I am the committee member, Nana. If we both are writing every day, we together are doing one action only, no? We are writing, no? Verb same కదా నాన్న, కానీ ఎంతమంది చేస్తున్నారు ఆ పని? ఇద్దరు కదా. సో ఇద్దరన్నా నాకు ప్లూరలే కదా నాన్న, అందుకు రైటే అవుతుంది, అది రైట్స్ అవ్వదు. ఓకే, yeah. See, the confusion that you have, that is valid for other conjunctions like or and everything. So if I'm saying the doctoral student or the committee member, then I have to understand that there's only one person doing that action. ఎవడో ఒకరు అని కదా, అప్పుడు నేనేమో వచ్చి అట్లా తీసుకోవచ్చు రైట్స్ అని. Shifa, what do you say? This year bonus amount for employees will not be possible. Obviously, Corona వల్లేమో అసలు ఆఫీస్లో ఓపెన్ చేయలేదు, బోనస్ అక్కడ ఇస్తారు. Oh wait, you're giving me an example for amount of. So again, look, you never say amount for. Okay, the amount of bonus this year will not be possible. Yes, very good. So Anusha, yeah. Hey guys, you can type it in all chat, Nana. There's nothing wrong in you typing things in all chat, okay? Yeah. The amount of people going states is increasing. Hey Nana, what is states? Are you talking about the USA? Okay, fine. The amount of people going to United States is increasing. Okay, Nana? So you have to add a preposition. Guys, we learned all the parts of speech, no? Please go through parts of speech. Don't worry, listen. So grammar is not a one day batting. Grammar takes time for you to develop. But my sincere suggestion is try to ask me if that's correct or not. Okay, and don't feel shy in asking. Look, even if you are 29 years old or 40 years old, if you have not been through the rules of grammar, then it will be harder for you to understand. And there's nothing wrong in that. Okay, large amount need to be invested. No, Varsha, it will be large amount needs to be invested to start a company. Okay, because large amount is a singular, no? నువ్వు ఒక్క అమౌంటే పెడుతున్నావు కదా, ఎంత పెద్దదైనా ఒక్క అమౌంటే పెడుతున్నావు కదా, అలాంటప్పుడు నీడ్స్ అవ్వాలి నాన్న అది. ఓకే, ప్లీజ్ స్టార్ట్ టైపింగ్ ఇన్ ఆల్ చాట్ సో దట్ యువర్ డౌట్స్ అదర్ పీపుల్ కెన్ ఆల్సో సీ. ఓకే, సో if other people will also be able to see a lot of doubts, no, they might also have similar doubt in their mind, right? Okay, so can I go to the next rule? Is this rule easy and clear for you now? Due to the flood, lots of water is accumulating. Yeah, okay. So you have to add the definite article due to the flood. Okay, due to the flood, lots of water. So add a comma after flood and the before flood. That will be a perfect sentence. Okay, all right. Next. Now, when there is one subject and more than one verb, the verb throughout the sentence must agree with the subject. Okay, for example, look at this over here in the sentence number 1. Interviews is only one subject, but are is one verb. Let's call this verb 1. I'll call this subject 1. Okay, so interviews are one way to collect data, and this is verb 2, no? Allow researchers to gain an in-depth understanding of participants. So in this sentence, see, we have two different verbs. Correct? In this sentence, we have two different verbs, but both of those verbs are talking about the same subject. Okay? Now, what will happen if you have two different subjects and two different verbs? Guys, what will happen if there are two different subjects and two different verbs? Guys, any answers? Okay, so I'll give you the answer. Let us say that the sentence is constructed in this way: subject 1, verb 1, subject 2, verb 2. Then this verb 1 will follow subject 1 and verb 2 will follow subject 2. Okay, so each subject, sorry, each verb will agree with the closest subject. So this brings me to another question that I wanted to ask you. Now, when I'm saying subject verb agreement, is the subject agreeing with verb or is the verb agreeing with subject? Guys, when I'm saying mutual agreement, verb agreeing with subject. Okay, now think about it this in a very logical manner. ఒక సబ్జెక్ట్ పని చేస్తేనే పని అవుతుందా లేదా? అవునా? సో పని చేస్తున్న వాడెవడు? సబ్జెక్ట్ కదా. ఆ సబ్జెక్టే లేకపోతే ఆ పని అవనే అవరు కదా. అవునా కాదా? That is why always the verb, which is the work or the action, is agreeing with the subject. Okay, Varun, you got the answer? All right, let's go to the next rule. So look, when a phrase comes between the subject and the verb, okay, remember that the verb still agrees with the subject, not the noun or the pronoun in the phrase that is following the subject of the sentence. So here I want to introduce to you a concept of grammar known as modifiers. Did I tell you about modifiers before? Guys, have I told you about modifiers? No, okay. Okay, so modifiers is a funny concept altogether. Oh, Akshita, I've taught you people about modifiers. How come? Wait, all of us are in the same class, no? Okay, some of you are saying no, some of you are saying yes, so don't worry. I'll actually tell you about it again. So guys, just think about the sentence, I eat paneer. What does the sentence I eat paneer mean? నేను పన్నీర్ తింటాను. Yes. Simple sentence kada. ఇందులో complicated ఏం లేదు. Now let me just add this small word only. Okay, at different places. For example, only I eat paneer. Okay, or maybe I only eat paneer, or maybe I eat only paneer, or I eat paneer only. Now, if you look, each of these four sentences have different meanings, no? And why is that happening? Just because of this one word only? Now, is this word actually giving me any benefit? No. But still, when I'm using this word, my meanings are changing. Yes. Why? Because it is adding some kind of an extra information. Correct? So, whenever this kind of a thing happens, this extra information is known as a modifier. Okay? And usually you can see that modifiers are always between the two commas. Usually. Okay? Not always, usually. All right? So I'll give you an example of a sentence modifier. All right? All of you know Donald Trump? Yeah? Okay. Donald Trump, the president of United States is behaving foolishly. How many of you agree with this statement? Yeah, please make sure that you're doing this in all chats. Okay. Yeah, I mean, see, what is the logic in it? Yeah, his country has the highest number of coronavirus cases. There is no one who wants to go to his country right now, but he'll suspend immigration. Whereas, when in his country there are so many cases, those people are taking their kids and roaming around the country. I mean, no common sense whatsoever, right? But whatever. In this entire sentence, I can just simply say Donald Trump is behaving foolishly. I don't need to tell he's the president of the United States because certainly he's not acting like one. Right. So when I'm saying Donald Trump is behaving foolishly, yeah. So he's accepting medicines but rejecting students. Yeah, that's one of my tweets. Yeah, nice. So both of us have similar opinions. Yeah. So when I'm saying Donald Trump is behaving foolishly, that's more than enough for me to know the complete meaning. I don't need to know who he is and all. But this is just an extra information, right? Yeah. So this is a modifier. Now, because this part, the president of US is not a complete sentence, this is known as a phrase. Okay. So when phrases are coming, you should not think of the phrase and you should only look at the subject of that sentence. Okay. For example, the student. See, student for me is a singular subject now, as well as the committee members. This is again plural, no, Nana. But look, this is just a modifier. That means if I remove this also, my sentence should mean the same. That is why I'm using a singular verb, because this verb needs to agree with this subject. Is that clear? All of you? Now look, strategies that the teacher uses to encourage classroom participation include, because classroom participation, we should not overlook the main subject of teacher. All right. Okay, let's go to the next one. So when two or more singular nouns or pronouns are connected by or nor, we use a singular verb. All right. Now, why is this? Because when I'm saying A or B, I'm saying that the action is being done only by one of these people. Okay, I'm saying that correct. So that is why I'm using a singular verb, right? So the chairperson or the CEO approves the proposal before proceeding. That means only one of them approves it, not both. Correct? Now, what will happen if I say uh, the monkeys or the donkeys will win the race? Yeah, Jami Sushmita, I'm giving you an example of your doubt. Just answer me over here. The monkeys or the donkeys will win the race, no? That means the action is either being done by this group or by this group. Okay, so I'm using this part. So what you can do is just remove this part. The monkeys will win the race, right? Sorry, this part. Yeah. So think of it like that. In that way, you'll get your answers easily. Now look, in your sentence correction, no, almost 30 to 40% of the questions are subject verb agreement only, yaar. Only the rest 60% are your what? Conditionals, gerunds, parts of speech, all of these things included. Okay. So this topic looks very, very simple, but when you are solving questions, it gets a little bit complicated. All right. So please make sure that you are paying a lot of attention. Okay. All right. Can we go to the next one? Now look, when a compound subject contains both a singular and a plural noun. Okay. And these are joined by or not. Then the verb should agree with the part of the subject that's closest to the verb. Okay. Now this is either called as the proximity rule or parenthetical effect. Okay, there are two names for this rule. One is the proximity rule, and the second one is called as the parenthetical effect. All right. Now, what do you mean by the proximity rule or parenthetical effect? Look over here. When I'm saying the student, can I say this is a singular subject or the committee members? So this is going to be a plural subject. Now this verb, right, is very close to this committee members, correct? Yeah. So just put a bracket around it. Yeah. So we have to use this also to be a plural verb. Now I'll give you another example. Okay. Let us say Varun or who else has typed on the all chat? Let me see. Give me a minute. Varun or Jansi. Yeah. Okay. Sophie. Varun or Jansi's friends dash going to the park. Yeah, no need to say are. See, this is why I don't put all chat. Come on, guys. Behave more maturely, more maturely. Oh, you're giving me answer. Oh, very good. I thought you were saying are. Sorry. Yeah, the right answer is are. Okay, why? Because the verb is very close to Jhansi's friend. Now, had I reversed this, Jhansi's friends or Varun dash going to the park. Yeah, then it's going to be is. Very good. So now do you understand how this works? So now are you all able to understand how this is working? Okay, cool. Now there are some words, and I want you to tell me what these words are. Okay, we have learned these as Sanam words. Remember? So which part of speech do they come under? Guys, tell me which part of speech are they? ఏట్రా అప్పుడే ఆన్సర్ చేయడు ఏమైందిరా ఓహో నోట్లు ఎత్తుకుంటున్నారా యా It's a pronoun. But what type of pronoun? Yes, very good. It's an indefinite pronoun. Manohari, very good. I will not give you a chocolate later. But yeah, whatever. So when we are having all these indefinite pronouns, no, we don't know exactly how many people it is calling, no? We don't know exactly how many people they are referring to, right? That's why we always take a singular verb. Okay? So look here, each of the participants was. Okay? Neither alternative hypothesis was. I will offer a $5 gift card to everybody who participates. Okay? So this is again a singular verb. Yeah, Sushmita. What happened? You have a doubt? Okay. Then okay, fine. So, oh, my voice was breaking. Now it's fine. Was it breaking for everyone? Now it's fine, no? Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. So no one was able to meet with me at the preferred time. So see over here, no one is the subject now, and this will be was will become our singular verb. Guys, see, this is one of the rule that a lot of you people will forget because I know this, and I've seen a lot of people forget this rule. Every single time I give a question regarding this rule, at least 10 to 15% of my class goes wrong. Okay, so please, this is an important rule. Please make a note of this rule and the previous one. Okay, these two are a bit important in terms of your CRT prep because yeah, so most of the questions, no, in subject verb agreement, they give you complicated questions of these two rules only. అంటే వాళ్ళకి సరదా ఇంకేం కాదు. ఓకే, సో కొంచెం ఇవి రెండు చూసుకోండి. ఈ రూల్స్ కొంచెం ఇంపార్టెంట్ రూల్స్, సరేనా? Now next one, non-count nouns take singular verb. Now what do I mean by non-count nouns? Non-count nouns are nothing but uncountable nouns. Okay, for example, diabetes affects many people around the world. Now how many subjects is diabetes? There's absolutely no count for that, no? So because diabetes is a uncountable noun, we are using a singular verb. The information obtained from the business owners was relevant. Yes. So what is the noun over here? Information is the noun over here. This is the uncountable noun. So we are using a singular verb. Okay. Similarly over here, the research I found on the topic was limited. So the research is an uncountable noun, no? That's why we are using a singular verb, was. Okay? All right. Now look at this. Some countable nouns in English, like earnings, goods, odds, and all of these, okay, only have a plural form. These words don't have a singular form. Okay. So they always take a plural verb. All right. So look at this. The earnings for this quarter exceed. Okay. The proceeds of the sale go to. What do you mean by proceeds of the sale? all the amount you've collected by selling some object. Locally produced goods. What if that research about a particular is about any particular, like the research about book? Ekanana research part back example na? Okay, so let us write the sentence and look at it. Can I say the research about this book was limited to Google only? This is a correct sentence. So now here also I'm using was only, no? And why is that? Because the main subject is research. And all of this part about the book, about the car, or whatever becomes a modifier to it. It's just adding extra information that's not required. అరే వరుణ్ గా నీకు తెలిసినప్పుడు మళ్ళీ ఎందుకు రాడు వరుణ్ నువ్వే క్వశ్చన్ అడిగేసి నువ్వే ఆన్సర్ చెప్పేస్తే ఇంక నేను ఎందుకు రా సరే ఇంటరాక్షన్ సరే ఓకే వెరీ గుడ్ భయ్యా నెక్స్ట్ టైం నుంచి ఇంటరాక్షన్ కావాలంటే కాల్ చేయి మాట్లాడుకుందాం అంతేకాని ఇట్లా కాదే alright anyways the next rule is, look, if there is a sentence that's beginning with there is or there are, okay, then the subject will follow the verb. All right, so this is one rule that you'll have to remember for sure. Okay, now why is it like that? Because guys, remember we were talking about a few cases in which the what predicates are placed before the subject. Yes or no? About countable nouns. See, Nana, see, there are some countable nouns in English which only take plural, like all of these examples over here. Okay, these are all examples of countable nouns which only take plural. All right, so all of those countable nouns will take a plural verb only. ఇప్పుడు మనకు ప్లూరల్ సబ్జెక్ట్ ఉంటే ప్లూరల్ వర్బ్ ఇక్కడ తీసుకోవాలి ఇవి ఎప్పుడు ప్లూరలే ఉంటాయని నేను చెప్తున్నా ఓకే ఆల్రైట్ నౌ లుక్ ఎట్ దీస్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ యా నౌ ఇఫ్ ఐఎమ్ హ్యావింగ్ దేర్ ఈస్ ఆర్ దేర్ ఆర్ okay if I'm having there is or there are usually the subject will be following the verb anduku the subject has to agree with the verb part. For example, there is little administrative support. I can't say there are little administrative support. Okay, also there are many factors affecting teacher retention. ఎందుకు ఫ్యాక్టర్స్ అన్నది నా సబ్జెక్ట్ కదా ఇప్పుడు నేను ఈజ్ అని వాడాను అనుకోండి అక్కడ దేర్ ఇస్ ఓన్లీ వన్ ఫ్యాక్టర్ అని వాడాల్సి వస్తుంది లేకపోతే దేర్ ఇస్ ఎ లిమిటెడ్ ఫ్యాక్టర్ దట్ ఎఫెక్ట్స్ టీచర్ రిటెన్షన్ అని వాడాల్సి వస్తుంది ఓకే am I clear? All right, good. Let's move forward. Collective nouns are words that imply more than one person. ఇది మనకు తెలుసు కదా మనం ఫస్ట్ క్లాస్ లో చదువుకున్నాం nouns గురించి yeah so whenever we are having collective noun no because all of that collective noun together is about one group ఒక్క గ్రూప్ గురించే కదా అందుకు మనం సింగులర్ వర్బ్స్ తీసుకోవాలి we have to use singular verbs only okay so some of the examples for collective nouns are group, team, committee, family, class, all of these. All right, So now just look at this example. The group meets every week. Ante can the group meet every week, Anankara? Yes. The committee agrees on the quality of writing. The committee agree on the quality of writing, Anav? Yes or no? Okay. But there is a small exception. Okay. The verb, plural verb, if the focus is on individuals in the group, no, then this is much less common also. But even if that's less common, if the focus is on individuals of the group, then you'll have to take it in a plural way only. For example, look, the committee participates in various volunteer activities. Okay. I'll give you one more example. There's a small case that people usually don't talk about. Let me say the police dash corrupt. Will it be is or are? Just fill it with is or are. And don't send it to me on a personal chat. I want this on the all chat only. Because this is an answer that you can't go wrong in. Varsha, let me tell you, Harshita, Meher, Ramakrishna, and Ashok and Shalin are all correct. But Varsha, you are also correct. Now don't get confused. Don't get confused. The whole point is when I'm saying police, police is also the name of an institution altogether. Okay. The police as an organization, that means all the police force together, okay, is corrupt. But if I'm talking about police as a plural noun, okay, then I'll have to use it as are corrupt. So when I'm using are, I am referring to the common noun police. But when I'm using is, I am referring to the collective noun police. Okay. So this is one of the few exceptions that you get to see in grammar in subject verb agreement. All right. Do you mean to say the word police acts as both singular and plural? Yes, of course. So police also stands for organization and police also stands for individual policemen. Correct? So yeah, that's what I mean to say. Any more doubts? No more doubts, guys? All right then. So with this, let's end the class today. So we are almost done with grammar. There's just a small part left. Okay, that I'll club with the other classes. So the next week we'll have classes. I want to take a class on parajumbles again, practice, and I'll try to explain you. Can we have an exercise on the subject verb agreement? Sure. So I'll do one thing. I'll include an exercise on subject verb agreement by next class. Okay. So in the next class, what I'll do is I'll take one last class of grammar when I'm taking a small review of the topic, and we'll solve a lot of sentence correction questions in that class. Okay. All right, Navita. Tada, bye bye. All right, guys. Have a good day. It's raining. It's beautiful. Don't go onto the terrace. Don't get wet and all. But yeah, take care. Enjoy your life. Let's meet again in the next class. Bye bye. All right. Have a happy Sunday too.